Hey fam, welcome back. I thought I'd have a fun little video for you guys today, the Eyeshadow Palette Wardrobe Tag. So I actually saw this video on both Samantha March's channel as well as Kelly Gooch's channel, but this tag was originated by Morgan Turner and Charlotte Holdcroft. So I will leave all four of their channels linked down below, along with the questions in case you want to do this tag as well. The Eyeshadow Palette Wardrobe Tag is kind of like, what palette would you use for what occasion? So if you are interested in my picks for these different occasions, girl, just stay tuned. We're gonna get into it right now. So I don't often do a lot of tag videos. In fact, I think the only tag video I've done so far is the one by Samantha March and Ali Glines, the eyeshadow palette tag, I guess it was called. But this one was so much fun, I just totally wanted to get involved. So the first question is, what palette would you choose for a wedding? So I assumed that I was more so like a guest at a wedding than like a bride, though this palette could work for either. So I think if I was a guest at a wedding, I would probably want to reach for my Huda New Nudes palette. Inside of this palette are so many beautiful neutral tones. There's a lot of really pretty pinks, some purples, there's some pretty, like kind of more neutral shimmers. There are a couple pressed glitters, but I think you could make such a soft, beautiful look that also still has some pizzazz for that special occasion kind of day. I think this is so beautiful. I think it's so versatile. I think this would go with a lot of outfits you might choose for a wedding, and I just thought this palette was absolutely beautiful and perfect for a wedding. The next question is a palette for date night. Now, Doug tends to like more neutral tones. He likes when I do like more natural looks. Of course, I always do these extra looks because that's just me.
I said what I said.
But I think for date night, we've often been just kind of chilling at home, ordering DoorDash, watching some movies, playing video games, all kinds of fun stuff. And it's really nice to just like reach for something easy and simple, but still beautiful that makes me feel pretty, but doesn't take forever to do, kind of like the look I have on today. And so I chose the Platinum Cutie palette from Nabla. Inside you have a bunch of really beautiful neutrals, but these shimmer shades are just unbelievably beautiful. They're so metallic, so pretty. And I really feel like I can do a quick, beautiful look with this that makes me feel special, but it's still kind of a little bit more on the neutral, sexy side. The next prompt is, what palette would you choose for girls' night? And I think for girls' night, I started thinking kind of like, all right, we're in fall, going into the colder season. What would I wear out with the girls? And I reached for immediately the Urban Decay Stone Vibes palette. This palette is so beautiful. These shimmers are like wet on the lid. And I think if I was gonna go out with the girls, I really like the idea that I have all these different colors. I like that I could do a really beautiful shimmery lid that feels a little bit more, like I said, special occasion, kind of like the Huda New Nude palette. But that's just so beautiful. Tons of pops of colors, but very easy to use. You've got a couple mattes in here to work with as well if you'd like to. But I've actually seen some Urban Decay promotions and commercials lately where they just did all shimmer looks, so I definitely want to try that next with this palette. I think it'd be so beautiful. The next prompt is, what palette would you bring on vacation? And I think from what I've seen, a lot of people are choosing more like small, easy to travel with palettes. Not this girl. I would want to bring these two palettes on vacation. So I have the Jaclyn Hill Volume 1 and Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 from Morphe. I think if I was going on vacation, like I know myself, I like to kind of dress to my mood and I like to do makeup per my mood, and I don't know what I'd want on vacation. I just feel like I wouldn't want to bring something super limiting where I was kind of just stuck with that and then in another state or another country. So I think I'd want to bring both of these palettes. So we have the original, which is a little bit more on the neutral side. You do have a couple pops of blue, but there's a lot of like warm tones, neutral tones in here, and some deeper browns and chocolates. And then we have the more punchy palette with the hot pinks, oranges, reds, purples. I think between these two, I'd have anything I needed on vacation, regardless of my mood, regardless of the outfits I packed. I could just pretty much do anything with these two palettes that I would need to do on vacation. And I think they would travel pretty compactly, just like that. The next prompt was a palette for graduation. This one was a little bit tricky for me. I did recently get my MBA in 2018. I was really happy about that. It was a lot of hard work. And I think back to that day of graduation. I had traveled to State College, I actually got my MBA from Penn State. So my family and Doug and I traveled to State College for me to walk down the aisle, and I was even before I was really like that into makeup. I think it was like back in the days where I had just a couple things and I wore the same stuff all the time, back when I was a lot wiser than I am now with my excessive makeup collection. But I don't know, it made me think of that day and like how emotional it was and amazing, and I just felt really, really proud and happy, and it really led me to the Born to Run palette from Urban Decay. So this palette is colorful, but it's also got a lot of neutral, more everyday tones in it. I feel like this is like a more sophisticated, colorful palette, which is I think what I'd be reaching for on graduation day. This way I could do like a fun cool tone look if I wanted to. I could do a warm tone look if I wanted to. If I wanted to get kind of exotic with some of these colorful colors, I could. I just think this would be a perfect palette for graduation, and I thought it was really beautiful. It just felt right to me in the way that I felt that day. So the next prompt was kind of a gimme as far as I'm concerned. This is the palette you would wear for Christmas or seasonal holidays around that time. And for me, I do celebrate Christmas, so it made me immediately reach for my Give Me Glow Christmas Morning palette. I was like, ooh, an easy one. So this palette is beautiful. You've got 4 mattes, 4 shimmers. They're in really beautiful colors. So you've got a lot of beautiful tones in here that I think are very reminiscent of that time of year. This palette is absolutely beautiful, and I cannot wait to actually rock it around the Christmas holidays. So the next prompt was a birthday party, and I actually had 2 choices for this because I thought about if I was going to a birthday party as a guest versus if it was my birthday. So I think if I was going to a birthday as a guest, I would have to reach for my Glam Light Cake palette. It just seems so perfect for her birthday. So we have the beautiful little palette here. It is shaped like a cake. And inside you have a beautiful array of really colorful tones, lots of like bright colors. It just seems so festive and celebratory. I really, really like it. I couldn't resist like a cake palette for a birthday. Come on, I had to do it. But then I got to thinking if it was my birthday, and I'm like, what would I want to wear if it was my birthday? And I was really drawn to this beautiful hooded palette. This is the Mercury Retrograde palette. And inside you have an array, again, of really beautiful, colorful colors. They're a little softer, but there's still so many special shades. You've got a lot of glittery shades, gorgeous tones. But I could also wear it if I wanted to kind of be a little bit more sophisticated and not as colorful. I could do that with this palette as well. So I really liked that it was just so beautiful, happy, festive. It's got so many gorgeous shimmers, and I just think that I would feel like a very special birthday girl with this on my eyes. The next prompt is what you would wear to the office. So while it's been a hot minute since I've been in the office, I've been working from home for 6 months now. This palette from BH Cosmetics, the Desert Oasis palette, was a ride or die on those work mornings where I was running late, girl. Had to try to get out there, not get stuck in traffic. This is such a fantastic palette. Now, I do believe that these are supposed to be highlighters, like face highlighters, and I've heard people refer to these as bronzers. To me, every single shade in this is an eyeshadow. I don't use these pans for face stuff. I've used these as my transition shades, and I go in with a shimmer. Most often, this giant highlighter that has a gorgeous beaming shimmer tone. I have used this so many times. I think this is the perfect palette for the office. And I love that it's affordable. So we only have 2 prompts left. The next one is the palette you would reach for kind of on the go if you had to run errands, just kind of like an everyday palette. And for me, I immediately thought about Tarte. This is the Tartelette in Bloom. And while I do switch up my eyeshadow every day, I don't have a specific everyday palette. I think if I was too quick, need to run out the door, I only had a couple minutes, I would throw a Super Shock shadow on my lid, and then I would reach into one of these shades. These Tarte shades are just super easy, super blendable, nice neutral tones. I think that this could be the perfect palette for every day. If you just had to run out the door, didn't have a lot of time for muss or fuss, I think this would be the perfect choice for an everyday palette or a palette on the go. And our last prompt is the palette you would wear for New Year's. And for me, that would have to be the Desi and Katie X Dose of Colors palette. This is the Friendcation palette. Inside, we have a bunch of really wearable neutrals, plus all of these gorgeous shimmer shades that are so special and so beautiful. Swatch a couple for you here. Ooh, stay in the pan there, friend. So you've got these like incredible shimmers that are so beautiful. I think this would be the perfect palette for New Year's. Plus, I always feel like this gorgeous packaging, it just reminds me of like a cute little clutch, like a little handbag for like a special occasion. This just screamed New Year's to me. So I definitely had to pick this one. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and finding out which palettes I would choose for which occasions. I'd love to hear some of your choices down below. I hope this video was helpful for you guys. I thank you all so much for being here. I love you all so much. And until the next video, bye.